It is time to lawyer up with attorney Will McKinley, who practices law for the Menn Law Firm out of Appleton. Good morning, sir.
Good morning and good thaw to you and yours. We're getting there, and I hear the warmth is coming.
Yeah, it should be in the 30s to start next week.
I think that's exciting. And I look forward to getting rid of the cobblestone streets that we've all grown to love and enjoy.
It's really bad.
Our morning drives.
We are all looking forward to the end of that, yeah. Let's start this morning with a case update. Headline out of the New York Post: eBay to pay $3 million after employees sent live spiders, cockroaches, and other things to a couple that was giving bad reviews, right?
That's right. We first introduced this story during the pandemic. So 2020 is when we first started to talk about this. Two individuals, they were named Ina and David Steiner. They operated an online e-commerce publication called E-commerce Bytes. So they're just electronic journalists, right? So they write about Amazon, eBay, those types of things. Well, they wrote an article that was critical of eBay that eBay took some serious issue with. And employees and independent contractors of eBay started this harassment campaign where they would send a number of inappropriate things. So they would send disturbing packages that included cockroaches, spiders, a Halloween mask of a bloody pig, and a book titled Grief Diaries: Surviving Loss of a Spouse. Hint, hint, wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
That's insanity.
Sounds like a threat.
That's right. So the Steiners brought a lawsuit initially against eBay, but then the Justice Department got involved with the investigation and charged eBay with 4 counts of corporate stalking.
Have you ever heard of that?
I had
happening
never
ever again?
heard of corporate stalking. They had to dust the books off to find that one, I think, as opposed to just creepy old man stalking, corporate stalking. But basically, what ended up happening was there were 7 employees who were actually handed down felony convictions previously in relation to this, and we talked about that a couple of months ago. And the ringleader of this whole harassment campaign received 57 months in federal prison as a result of this. So the corporate stalking charge against the company, so it's not against the individuals, this is against the company, and it comes with a $3 million fine that has to be paid in relation to it. eBay has acknowledged, they have acknowledged that they were in fact played a role in the harassment, that some corporate folks were enabling this and actually encouraging what was going on here. And the now CEO has come out publicly and said it was unacceptable, and it should have never have happened, and basically have issued an apology. So the folks that were affected by this have basically said, we're not satisfied. Like, this is unacceptable. You can't do this to ma and pop journalists, and they're going to continue their crusade to get more answers because they believe that there's still individuals that were involved in this campaign higher up in eBay that have gone unscathed. So I'm not going to say this is case closed because it's still technically open, but I think we can say case is partially closed.
Okay.
Imagine being a multi-billion-dollar company and doing this to a blogger.
Well, what it tells me is that they have way too much overhead, right? Because if there's people that have this much time to fuss and screw around with this, that they probably could do some layoffs here and get people working a bit more efficiently.
That might be true.
That's my observation. But, I mean, again, I was surprised, and I think I cracked this joke the last time we talked about it. I didn't think eBay was still a thing. I just thought eBay was one of like America Online. I thought it was one of those 2000s things that has since just got. Do people still use eBay?
I sell stuff on eBay all the time.
Do you?
Yes.
I just assume Facebook Marketplace kind of took over the role of eBay in terms of junk that's being sold online.
People use both.
And then Amazon was kind of for the new stuff.
Well,
eBay is still very popular.
Is it?
Facebook Marketplace
Where the hell
is for
have I
the junk.
been?
Facebook Marketplace is for the junk.
Yeah.
But eBay is kind of almost a little bit more for collectible high-end sort of items. Yeah.
People make good money
on eBay.
Selling on eBay.
That's still a thing. I sold some used sewing machines on eBay once as kind of a side hustle when I was in college for a guy I used to work for. That was okay, but I again, I didn't think anybody used eBay anymore. Are you sure it's still a thing?
Yeah.
It's my stepdad's,
and you two aren't just losers who
full-time
still use
thing.
it. Like, you still have
sorry,
your AOL account.
We just did an entire story about how eBay is still a company and they had to pay $3 million from their profits.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
To this couple.
They paid all of their profits. The $3 million, they paid it all. Because they spend all their time harassing people instead of, being a good e-commerce platform. I stand corrected. I just didn't think anyone used eBay anymore.
This is the end of today's corporate stalking case update. All right, next story on the docket. Again, from the New York Post, which, Will, is still a website.
It is. That one I'm aware of.
Yeah, it's got a .com and everything now.
Excellent.
Headline, Texas man says Walmart, also still in business, mistook him as a shoplifter, demands free stuff for life.
Yes. Finally, a plaintiff worth their medal. Now, of course, we're talking about Roderick Jackson. He's from Wascom, Texas. Never been to Wascom, Texas. He filed 2 handwritten complaints claiming he was suing Walmart for an incident that took place at a store in Omaha, Nebraska in March of 2021. So he's unrepresented by counsel, pro se, as we say it fancily in the legal world. And his complaint, which was shared with Fox News, in that complaint, he states he is suing, but it's spelled as if he's sewing, for civil rights violations based on race/color. Now, none of the complaints detail what happened other than that he claims that he was involved in a case of being accused of shoplifting because of his race or color. Now, what's interesting, and I love it because it literally looks like he wrote his complaint in crayon, which is fantastic.
It is the handwriting of a first grader.
And
it's better than mine.
And again,
it's not much worse than mine, slightly.
Right. But in his complaint, he's saying, look, I want $100 million or free shopping for life.
Okay.
Whichever comes first, that's what I want. Now, unfortunately for him, this isn't his first foray in litigation against Walmart. He's got to pick a less of a giant to fight with. So he filed a similar lawsuit where basically on the same grounds, probably related to the same incident, that was dismissed by the court, shockingly. But in that case, he originally requested $100 million and a huge credit for future shopping, as opposed to free shopping for life. But then he changed his mind and said, okay, I just want $175 million instead.
Sure.
So he's really trying to refine his strategy here in terms of how he's going to recover from Walmart. But we shall see. I don't know if this is one we're going to monitor, but I did think it was clever because we frequently talk about on this case, well, as a remedy, why don't they just, get something free for life? Nobody ever asked for that except for this guy. So I consider him a pioneer in litigation strategy for pro se litigants.
So what is the chances that
None.
this goes through?
0.
You think?
0.
Are you sure?
Yes. I would say his chances of success in this case are less than your chance of going into a Walmart and not being disgusted.
If you would like to see this gentleman's handwriting that we were discussing, text the word Walmart to 79489. We'll send you a picture, a little screenshot of his handwriting, just so you have a reference of what Rob and I were comparing our handwriting to.
That's right.
Yeah.
And again, he's sewing for false pretense of shoplifting, which is a good cause. That's a good thing to sew for.
That's right. Get your knitting needles out.
That's right.
Text Walmart to 79489. We'll send a picture right to your phone. Final story on the docket. Bachelor suing dozens of women after they claim he's very clingy and a serial ghoster, and they're doing it on Facebook.
Okay, so Facebook, which I know is still a thing, so that I can verify. Facebook, there are apparently there's a page called "Are We Dating the Same Guy?"
Bunch of different
for different
pages.
locations.
Yep.
Yeah. So every municipality kind of has one, and it's basically like, okay, you go on, you have a bad experience dating someone, you basically go on, you rant about them, and then it's like, oh yeah, I dated that guy too. He did the same thing. So it kind of becomes this Jerk's Most Wanted type page. Well, a guy named Nico D'Ambrosio, he's 32, he's from Chicago. He claims his reputation was sullied after his name and photo were shared in the Facebook group's Chicago edition late last year. As a result, he's filed a lawsuit for $75 million against a number of women who were participating in the trash talk on the Facebook page. Now, according to a handful of remarks on the page, he was clingy, that he would basically have intercourse with women and then kind of ghost them thereafter, that he was, would go and spread lies about, so just, your typical bad date turns into gossip, that sort of thing. He is, though, not messing around, because he demands that these posts be taken down and all of these women and Facebook be held liable to him financially for the reputational harm that these 27 people have caused to him.
Do you like what he's selling here?
I don't like, well, I shouldn't say that. So he's got no claim against Facebook. So that's a dead end for sure, because they have immunity under a number of federal laws. The posters themselves can have liability if, in fact, what they're saying is false. But really, things like he's clingy, that's an opinion,
that's
right?
A
what
First
is
Amendment
clingy?
Yeah.
Nobody here, as best as I can tell, is saying that he raped them or that he stole money, that he did some criminal thing or some overt act. It's just the guy sucks. He's just a sucky human being. Well, all right, I'm sure his mom disagrees, but people can disagree, but people can also share their opinions, right? We have free speech protections and that sort of thing. So I think that the tricky with all of these types of cases is we go from opinion versus statements of fact. And judges are universally opposed to trying to punish people for making statements of opinion in these types of cases. I think he's got a real tough row to hoe here. I don't like this case.
So you don't think $75 million in damages is coming his way?
I think he would have better luck seeking all the shopping he wants at Walmart for his life.
Wow.
Than $75 million in damages.
Wow.
for what it's worth. But I think this is a dead end for this guy. I think mostly he's doing this to more prove a point to the girlfriend, to the lady that he's trying to court, that, these ladies were all lying and I'm suing them. Right. So that way he can, proceed with his shenanigans.
Or the future women he's going to run into that he wants to hook up with.
Right, exactly. This is just cover. It's just, easier
I'm
to pay.
Suing all of them. It was all fake.
They hate it. They got it out for me. Yeah. They got it out for me. That type of thing. Which people do. People file suits purely for the PR aspect of it, to be able to say, no, we're litigating that. That's bogus. It's cheaper to just pay a lawyer to file a lawsuit and keep the lawsuit going for a period of time to be able to then deny what's going on than it is to have to deal with the actual issue itself.
Got it. Well, our thanks to the Menn Law Firm for loaning Will to us this morning. You can find out more about Will's practice by going to mennlaw.com. That's men with two N's. Mennlaw.com. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, and I hope everyone finds a good reason to sow for this weekend.